What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Ready to Love. This is season 10, episode 1, and the episode is titled The First Ready to Love Wedding. Yeah, there was a wedding. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, here's the thing. We are in a new city. We are in Philly right now, and let's see what these singles have to offer. Because, of course, they have changed the formula of the show. So now we only meet the first 10 singles. All right, so the first person that we meet is Deanna. Now, she is this beautiful black woman who has chocolate skin, blonde hair, and she looks great. Then come to find out, she is a firefighter. I did not expect for her to say that that was her profession, but shout out to her. Okay, girl. And she did mention that, she wants to find a guy that allows her to be feminine because when she's at work, she has to kind of put up this harder exterior. And she also mentioned that she would not date another firefighter. And if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be another guy who comes on the show who's a firefighter. So, I guess they will not be making a love connection. But nonetheless, she ends up meeting the first guy there, who is Naeem. So we quickly learn that he is a gym owner and he was adopted. We'll get into a little bit more of these two a little bit later. Now, they bring in 3 more singles. It is Angie, True, and Wayne, I believe. Here's the thing. Angie has a very sad story because she was actually engaged to marry someone, and unfortunately, that person passed away in their sleep. So now she's ready to get back out there and date intentionally. True, I feel like True's personality is very interesting because when she said that she's been in Philly since Meek Mill was rapping on the corner, I said, oh, okay, I get it. She has a little sense of humor. However, she's going to have a conversation later and I'm just like, oh, maybe she don't have a sense of humor. And I must say, I personally feel like she looks older than her age because when she's 35, I'm like, where? I thought you were at least 42, but that's okay. That's okay. It could just be the hair and her makeup that day. We'll see what she looked like on another episode. As far as Wayne goes, I'm going to be honest, y'all. I hate his hair. I hate it. I don't know what's going on upstairs. I don't know what's going on up top. With the locks coming forward, not really a fan. All right, so the next person that we meet is Eddie. He is pretty young, you guys. He's 31. I feel like everybody else on this season so far has been older than him, but very attractive man. He has his own construction company. He loves to travel. He seems like a catch. Now, the next person that we meet is Kiera, and I can't lie, when she walked in, I said, oh, okay, there we go. We finally got our girly girl, the girl who's going to wear all her, Fashion Nova dresses, and y'all know, that's a common thing on this show. You're going to have just that one girl that's going to be giving you body yaddy and all the things, and that is going to be Kiera on this season, for sure. Now, we also meet a guy by the name of Jay. Now, this guy is tall, dark-skinned, and I don't know if he was reminiscent of Omar Epps for the ladies because they were all into him, and I just didn't really see it. But that's okay. He just wouldn't be my type. However, we learned that this man is a single dad. He has 2 kids. According to him, his baby mama, she actually lives in Virginia, and he has primary custody. So we shall see how the ladies respond to him being a single dad. Because that's letting you know out the gate, sweetheart, that he will not always be revolved around you because he has 2 other priorities. All right, and then we also meet Sahara. So we learn that she is a very spiritual girly. And, she's into the sage and probably crystals and candles, all of those things. We'll get to her experience here in a moment because, baby, next thing you know, first of all, True noticed that she's like, whoa, there's rose petals everywhere on the floor and there's this whole setup. It looks like it could be a wedding out here, right? Next thing you know, baby, here comes Tommy, okay? Y'all already know he gonna come strolling down like he loved to do, to gather everybody around to be like, yeah, y'all made it to Ready to Love, whoop-de-woo-woo. However, here Tommy go with a curveball. Of all the curveballs that we could watch, it was a Ready to Love wedding. Yeah, the first Ready to Love wedding. Because they decided to bring back Camille and Cornelius to the show. Now, I recall reviewing that season of the show, and when I tell you there were people in my comments trying to eat me alive, because I felt like if Camille and Cornelius chose each other at that point in the show, I don't think that they should get sent home, because for some reason, I think that we have all rearranged what this show was about in our minds. I don't know what has happened, but last time I checked, I will reiterate it here. The show is called Ready to Love. If you meet a person and you lock in with them, it is okay for you to lock in with them and continue the journey. That's how I feel. If I meet somebody and we are at week 4 and I'm like, nah, I think I really want something with you, therefore, I'm going to go through the rest of the process with you. I want you specifically to meet my relatives. I want you specifically to meet my exes. Not me trying to continue today all the way till we up to episode 8. And then the person chooses nobody, or you was playing games the whole time. How many times have we seen that? But nonetheless, like I said, people used to eat me up in my comments because I felt like if those two chose each other, it shouldn't be that they get off the show. It should be that they continue the process to see if they actually want to date each other. But nonetheless, here we are. These two, they decide that they're going to get married. Oh, they also brought back Zadia because, her and Camille are close. And these two, they get married. Okay? Tommy, he was the officiant of the wedding. I personally did like their vows. They were definitely specific to each other. And I kind of forgot that Camille even had a son, okay? I will say, good for them. I wonder if they had already had a wedding, though, and this was just for TV. Like, did y'all already get married, and then y'all wanted to do this for TV? Or are y'all gonna have, like, y'all real wedding after the show? Because, nobody's family was there. Ain't an auntie, a cousin, they mama. Nobody was at this wedding but the cast of the new season of Ready to Love and Tommy. That's a little weird. But, congratulations to them. Okay? So, at this point, Tommy wants to brag and boast that, look at this here. We just had a whole wedding, so you can find love with Ready to Love. Child, I guess if that's gonna boost your ego, Tommy. Before Camille even left, he made sure that she threw the bouquet, and I believe Angie caught the bouquet, right? Cute. However, if I want to be completely honest with y'all, this whole wedding situation could have been put in another episode. Like, why couldn't you put this in the reunion or maybe the last episode? This is taking time from us to actually get to know the new people that's on this season. Also, what are you going to do for the next 10 people? Because they ain't get to witness no wedding. So what's going to happen on the next episode, Tommy? Child, let's just get to these actual conversations that are had between this new cast. Alright, so we actually start with a conversation between Angie and I think his name is Wayne. And basically she talks about how, her parents have inspired her over the years on what a relationship looks like because her parents always, work things out. And we learned that she comes from a big family. 11 children. I said, 11? Girl, that's crazy. Like, yikes. Now, we do learn a little bit more about his family dynamic as well. And he says that, he's pretty tight-knit with his family. And come to find out, he called himself this, y'all, a mama's boy. I said, ooh, I don't know how the ladies gonna take that because nobody wants a mama's boy. Like, to what degree, to what extent are you a mama's boy, sir? Those questions need answers. Now, I don't know if this conversation was chopped up, but I know that she asked him if he wanted kids. And he said, yeah, I want like 1 to 3 kids because, I see my nephew and he's so adorable and it looks fun. I said, girl, run. I'm sorry. I think it's wild for someone to ask you, do you want children? And your response is, oh, well, it looks fun. Like, yeah, there are absolutely good times in parenting, but being a parent is more than just fun, okay? Like, sir, I don't know about you. Now, these two, they did kind of hit it off to the point where they actually exchanged numbers. So we shall see if we get to see them actually go on a date. Now, the next person that we see is True have a conversation with Naeem, right? And basically, I know that she was talking about how in a relationship, or at least before she gets a partner, they got to make sure they go to therapy, baby. Therapy is essential to her. And he agrees, you know what I mean? I don't know if he ever been, because he did not say that he been in therapy. He ain't said that. Also, I did not like the fact that he asked the typical question that people ask. So why aren't you married? What's going on? Why haven't anybody locked you down? It's like the same reason why anybody locked you down, sir. Like, chill out. I just hate that question. But nonetheless, I will say that True seems like she's been through it. And I don't know in what capacity, but it definitely seems like she has had her fair share of rough relationships. So it seems like she may actually have her guard up pretty high. Now, as for Naeem, he does open up to her about how, he's been adopted, and he did kind of have issues with figuring out what love looks like to him, especially considering he's never actually gotten love from his biological parents. So he had a lot of things that he's had to work through over the years. Now, these two seem to be getting along quite well. We'll see what happens for them in the future. Moving on. Now, we see Jay, he goes to talk to Kiera, right? First thing that I notice is the way he talks and the language that he uses is different with her than how he spoke with other people. And that's not a bad thing. But for him to open up straight out the gate to be like, I mean, yeah, because girl, you a baddie. And I'm just like, a baddie? Oh, okay, this is how we talking. Cool. Like, I just feel like he was actually very attracted to her because he had more of like this flirtatious vibe with her, more than what I've seen with the other people so far. We learned that both of them actually have 2 kids. Now, just keep that in mind because, baby, that is 4 kids in total, okay? Now, he goes on to say that he was in an 11-year relationship, y'all. 11 years, that's a long time to be with somebody. For a lot of people, they would probably feel like, yo, why did you marry that girl? You were with her for 11 years. Why wasn't marriage on the table? Now, according to him, the reason why they broke up was because he didn't want to bicker about the small stuff. He wanted to go out and go get this money. I said, oh, okay. I'm not exactly sure what happened in that relationship. Hopefully we get a little bit more information. But nonetheless, she ends up asking him what he does for a living, right? And he's like, oh, I do cybersecurity. And she's like, oh, okay, we like a man with a job. I said, girl, who you been dating? Who have you been dating before? Like, were you dating some guys who did not have a job? Just curious. Now, the question is, do we think that Kiera is feeling Jay? Oh, baby, she is, because according to her, this is her man. She literally did the my man thing. I said, oh, Lord. Okay, girl. We gonna see how long this lasts, because you may find somebody else that you're into. We shall see. Now, moving on from that, y'all, we get this conversation between Will and Sahara, right? But first of all, Will. This man said that he got married twice already. Once after his mom died and once after his dad died. I said, oh, okay, gotcha. So this further lets me know that when you are going through traumatic experiences, you may cling on to your partner to an extent that you're not even ready for. Because he said after each one of those relationships, they got a divorce 1 year into the marriage. Sir, my question is now, well, how long were you dating them before you even married them? Then, in this conversation that he had with Sahara, right? They were talking about, I think, like, when was their last relationship, right? I think he said 5 years ago. She said, oh, it's been a year for me. Like, me and my ex, we broke up or whatever because he just had, like, a lot of things going on. And this man said, oh, well, was your ex a chronic masturbator? When I tell y'all, I was stuck for a moment. I was like, what? Why would you even say that? Why would you think that? Sir, you're giving weirdo, okay? And I can see why you're single. Like, I am all for jokes. But, sir, where your head is, it's a little weird upstairs. Then we see these two have a little back and forth because she asked, do you want children? This man said, well, if the person I'm with wants children, then yeah. And she's like, no, that's not gonna work. Like, the question was, do you personally want children? Not, you're not worried about what the other person wants right now. So they kind of go into like this back and forth or whatever. And I completely understand where Sahara is coming from. Because if I want children, I know that I'm also preparing myself for everything that it takes to be a parent. When you have an attitude of, oh yeah, I mean, if she wants some, then yeah, sure, we can have some kids, that means that you already not involved. You're not trying to be involved, and you just going with the flow and trying to skate on by. Therefore, you are probably not going to be that great of a parent. Baby, this conversation, it ain't going nowhere. So let's go ahead and move on because we have Kiara talking to Naeem at this point. Now, from Naeem's perspective, he's like, oh yeah, like she got it, body yaddy, all the things. And then he ends up calling her like, yeah, something stink. And I was like, ugh, I'm sorry. I hate when people give people nicknames like stink. Just because I'm like, that ain't cute. It's never been cute. I don't like it when we give it to our partners. I don't like it when y'all call little kids names like that. It just ain't cute to me. But that's just my opinion. Let's get into the convo. So, of course, he ends up telling her what he has as far as his gym, his nutrition bar, and all of that jazz. He says that he loves being a dad, and she opens up to say, oh, yeah, I got kids, too. I got 2 kids. They're 14 and 7. So he's like, oh, okay, that's cool or whatever. And then she asks him about his kids. Baby, he got 5. He got 5 kids, 3 different baby mamas. So immediately she's like, oh, so you got like baby mama drama. Now, to me, it seemed like he was saying in the beginning there was a little bit of drama, but it didn't seem like it was current. Now, in her confessional, she does say that, like, 3 baby mamas, that's a lot. My only question is this. Do you have 2 baby daddies? Or do you have just one? Just out of curiosity. Because some people may say, ooh, 2 baby daddies, that's a lot. I'm just saying, you can't throw stones and you got your own stuff going on in your closet, okay? Now, as far as him having 5 kids, 3 different baby mamas, the man is 42 years old, okay? I can absolutely understand giving a side eye if he was every bit of 25. Even if he was 30. I get it. But at 42, I wish you would have asked him what's the age range on your children. Because if he already 42, he could very well have 2 that's already grown, 2 teenagers, and maybe a 10-year-old. We don't know what the ages are of his kids. So maybe we should have asked that question. Like, I'm less concerned about his baby mamas and more concerned about the age of these kids, how actually involved you are. That's more of my concern. Now, we did get to see Eddie bounce around the room, okay? He was talking to any and everybody. All right, cool. Now, we do see him have a conversation, though, with Deanna. And I feel like they had a little connection there. Now, we did learn that he has a 9-year-old daughter. And when they went to sit to the side, just them two, because it was like a bunch of other people at the table, he asked her, "Oh, what do you do for work?" And this girl said, "Oh, I'm a stripper." And his response was, "Oh, wow." Like, he did not expect for her to say that at all. But of course, she's like, "Okay, no, for real. I'm actually a firefighter." And once, she said that, they really did hit it off. Like, he's like, oh, okay, like, she really about her business. She's beautiful, all these things. So I'm like, okay, we may have a little love connection right here as well. Let me tell you something. Deanna, she is not, the type of girl that is bouncing around trying to talk to every guy. She keeping everything real cool, real calm, real down to earth. And I like that about her. The guys are coming to her. She ain't going to nobody else. Love that. Like, I feel like so far she has been making quite a lot of guys turn their heads, because who else was that was checking her out? Oh, I think it was Jay. Wait, was it Jay? Yeah, Jay. I think it was Jay who was checking her out. Because once he found out again that she was a firefighter, everybody's like, oh, okay. All right, so I'm going to skip right on over the man who had 2 ex-wives. Let's get to this conversation between True and Jay. Because at first the conversation was super duper light. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what are you looking for? I'm looking for love. Me too. Cute. This man said one word, and when I tell you, baby, that struck a chord, it struck a chord. He mentioned how, like, I'm kind of done being a player. And she's like, player? And I'm just like, girl, bring it down a little bit. So, according to him, after he got out of that relationship with his ex, he kind of was, in these streets a little bit. But now he ready to settle down. And here's the thing. True, you putting too much sauce on it, okay? It's not that deep. He's not one of your exes for you to be feeling some type of way about it. And honestly, I understand where he's coming from. If he was in a relationship for 11 years, been with that one person, now the man only 34. So that further lets me know that if he's been single for a couple of years, he has been with that one person throughout his entire 20s, okay? Probably got with this girl either in high school or right after high school or something like that, right? He's only been with that one person. Yeah, he gonna wild out. I mean, unless he was out here cheating and stuff, but it don't sound like that's the problem. So yeah, he may have been out in these streets a little bit, but now he done calmed down. Why are you trying to hold that against him? Now, of course, she ends up asking him, like, oh, so who were you with for all that time? Because he mentioned how he was with his ex for 11 years. And he's like, oh, my children's mother. And she's like, 11 years? It sounds like you don't do commitment. And I'm just like, well, in my mind, honestly, I cannot blame a person for not getting married in their 20s. Even if you've been with that person for a long time, because I feel like when you're in your 20s, you're still discovering who you are, okay? And it could very well be that him and his baby mama were going in different directions. Maybe she wanted to be stagnant. He may have wanted more out of life. I don't exactly know, but all because you're with somebody for a certain amount of time, that does not mean that you need to absolutely marry them. So again, do I think that he has commitment issues? Honestly, I don't. Because if to me, now if he was a faithful boyfriend, I don't think that's a commitment issue. I feel like maybe he wanted to accomplish certain things before, he actually married her. Maybe they had to work on some things. I don't know. But I do feel like True's energy is a little bit hot, and it can calm down a little bit. Like, by the time we got towards the end of the conversation, it was like she was cutting him off. She wouldn't let him finish what he was trying to say. Like, it just wasn't a good interaction. It really wasn't a good look to me on her behalf. But let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so who comes strolling out the back, y'all? It's Tommy, which we already know it is time for them to talk about who they like, who they don't like. I'm not even going to go into who they were feeling because I feel like we only really saw them talk about Deanna. Everybody likes her. I don't remember hearing the guys mention anybody else. However, as far as the ladies go, of course, Kiara spoke up and said that she likes Jay. Let's talk about who they ain't feeling, okay? Who they're not feeling, first of all, it was Sahara, okay? Now, one thing that I will say is that what they said about her was rather interesting. Because when Eddie said, oh, the girl I'm not feeling is Sahara, because she kind of give off like that city girl vibe. And I'm just like, city girl vibe? City girl? Sahara? I'm sorry. I thought Sahara was giving earthy black girl. Maybe I'm wrong, sir. You had a conversation with her all day long. Well, not all day long, but I mean, like, y'all talked throughout the day. Maybe you know more information than me. But for me, Kiki is giving city girl vibes. And also for him to say, a little rough. I'm just like, oh, so you're using the term city girls in another word, is as another word of saying hood. She a little ghetto to you. That's the vibe that I'm getting. I'm just like, Eddie, I don't like that. I don't like that. Now, we jump over to Jay. He says he ain't feeling Sahara either, and it's because she kind of give homie vibes. Okay, fine. So then he gonna throw True in there. He's like, yeah, True, she think I'm a player, so no. Now, as far as who the ladies aren't feeling, Kiara spoke up. She said that she not feeling Naeem because he got 5 kids and maybe she got 2, so that ain't gonna work. That's 7 kids in total. However, she can do a man who got 2 other kids because that's just 4. Because at the end of the day, Jay is her man. And of course, the ladies are not feeling Will. Yeah, his jokes were landing flat, okay? All right, let's gather everybody together. Gather the group around, and we're deciding who's going home today. So we pull up Will and Naeem, and Tommy tells him that, the ladies weren't feeling y'all or whatever. And Will is the person who is selected to not, stay in the process. Brings up True and brings up Sahara. And Sahara is the one chosen to go home. However, Tommy throws a curveball that I am actually liking. This is the first time that I feel like a curveball has actually made sense. These two are not going home. Will and Sahara are getting a second chance at meeting the second set of singles, so that way they get the opportunity to see if maybe their person is there. Finally, I've been waiting for Ready to Love to do something like this because it made no sense to send somebody home when they ain't even met the other group of people. It never made sense. So we will see them next week when we bring on the next 10 singles. Y'all, that was pretty much the episode. From the preview, this season looks like it's going to be interesting. I really hope that it is because y'all know Ready to Love will start off on a high and then real quick it drops down to what are we watching. So y'all, I'm on the journey. I'm going to stay on the journey this time. And y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Y'all go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.